Hello, folks. Thought I would slip on here for a few minutes here this afternoon and sort of provide a few thoughts and insights and kind of vent a little bit. I was not going to do another one of these, but I've been a little disturbed by some of the things I've heard. So um, the tone of our social media interaction is disturbing, to say the least. Um, I like to think that I approach things with a little bit of intellectual integrity, try to be objective, realizing that I possibly could be wrong, which is not totally likely, but possibly. I like to think that if I'm able to present people with the same information that I have, they will come to the same right conclusion that I came to, and I have discovered that's not necessarily the case. But I would caution folks about using definitive statements like every time and always and completely and totally and all these things like that that totally shut down any conversation. Avoid hyperbole, exaggeration. Try to deal with the facts as they know them. If you come into everything with taking the moral high ground and it your stand is absolutely right, that automatically means that everybody else is totally, absolutely wrong. You lose credibility when you jump to conclusions based on your ideology rather than the facts before you. If you attribute everything good to a certain candidate or the president or anyone else, and overlook faults and problems and misspeaks and all those things, then you're showing your predisposition to believe regardless. If you um, adore and support what a bishop that you never heard of before says, you may not be talking in terms of theology, but rather a worldview that you agree with. And see how easy it is to fall into that. If you emphasize a gesture or a supposed salute, it proves the point that you are looking for something to prove your worldview and your ideology. If you fail to show compassion to people who are hurting and in need because it supports your thought process, then you lose credibility. And I just wish folks would uh, try to listen instead of, most people, I think, all you're doing is waiting for your turn to talk. You're just waiting to have an opportunity to say what's next on your mind. And doesn't really raise the bar at all. Um, I try to approach most issues with the possibility that I may be wrong. I would encourage you to try that sometime. Whenever you're making these grand statements and you are thinking that you're so smart and making such an impact, and your meme really speaks to the way you feel, try looking at this with the idea of I might possibly be wrong. I think it might be a little different way of thinking in this world, that if you're totally right, then everybody else is totally wrong, and I've come to find that's not the case, except for sugar and cornbread. Now, that's wrong. I mean, we can just agree on that. But other than that, there are some possibilities that there may be some things different. Uh, Getting to the county things, it was good to have President Trump in Western North Carolina. I think that'll be a positive thing. But I would caution you to understand that complex issues are not solved by simple declarations. There's nothing that is going to happen quickly, I don't believe. I hope things will positively change, but it's not going to be overnight. I think a lot of our non governmental agencies and organizations that have been trying to help are finding that what I've been calling the dirty details of getting things done is a lot harder than the statement to get it started. There's a lot of things that have to fall in place, and we welcome help, and I think we're going to do some great things. We've been meeting with the long-term recovery group that's set up and running in the county. A lot of the organizations, private organizations, non-governmental agencies, nonprofits, and all these folks. And they're doing a great job of trying to coordinate and get out the help to people they need. This week we met with FEMA, and we had a listing of the number of people who who qualified for direct housing and have declined it. Over 90% have declined the help, and I was really disturbed by that. And we're trying to find out why, what the problems were. And this long-term recovery group is some of those same people. We're now working with them, and we're trying to coordinate the care to make sure everybody gets what they need at the time that they need it. We are hoping this week that we will be given a disaster case manager from the North Carolina Emergency Management. We've been asking for this for a couple of weeks now as they're hiring new people and get them out to work with and coordinate all of this agency assistance. So we're hoping to be able to get that done so that we can bring all the different partners together and match up the needs with the people that that have the resources to meet those needs. We are still advocating very strongly for direct funding for private roads and bridges. We are seeking regulatory relief to get rid of some of the things that we've had to deal with in terms of moving forward, and at least get some assistance in terms of engineers for bridges and that type of thing. So we're hoping that that will come to pass here soon. We're really researching to try to find out what the needs are and what everybody can do working together. That is our goal. Roadside debris removal will be winding up sometime soon, probably toward the middle or end of February. Efforts will turn then to the waterway debris removal, which is trying to clear out all of our rivers and streams. And then after that will be personal property debris removal, which will be adjacent to the waterways and streams. So we've had to get guidance from this from FEMA and from the North Carolina Emergency Management, and those contracts we hope will be in place soon, and we'll begin that process. I would caution you again to be careful of sources of information. Not everything on social media is true. I know it's shocking, isn't it, that folks can just make statements and say things and there's no consequences. And a lot of the things that you may have heard or something is not true. And the conspiracies are not real for the majority. I mean, most people are trying hard. Lots of people are working hard. And Western North Carolina has not been forgotten. And everything, the tragedy in California, the work that those folks have in front of them is immense. It's a total different environment, total different situation, but we should have compassion for them and care about them because, as I've said before, just because they're getting assistance doesn't mean that we're not. I really don't believe that this is as political as most folks have made it out to be. I think there is some agency problems. I'm not an apologist for FEMA or an emergency management because if you've ever been in some of the meetings I've been, you know that I call them out. I am pretty adamant about some of the things that we need because I'm advocating for the people here in Avery County. So, but going back to the truth saying, you have to understand that there have been here and have been things done. Over $10.5 million have been paid out in individual assistance just in Avery County. So there are things being done, and we're in the process of doing even more. But I would advise you to show grace one to another and continue to work together. Let's look for opportunities to be together rather than trying to find things that divide us. There's a lot of work remaining to be done. A lot of things that will be accomplished, that are being accomplished even now. And I look forward to the changes that may come. And hopefully we'll be able to get rid of some of these regulations and some of the things that have kept us from moving forward. But I encourage you to continue doing the good things one for another, and together we'll be able to work to bring a positive change and a positive remaking to the citizens here in Avery County.